In this video I'm going to show you how you can make a mobile phone stand using a pen blank. These are pen blanks that you can buy on eBay and they are really cheap. They're a great way for particularly newbie woodworkers to move on from pine onto hardwoods or exotic woods without breaking the bank. Pen blanks are really ideal doing that. They're a great way of finding out if you like working with certain wood, because not all wood is nice to work with. So I'll show some other projects at the end of this video as well, things I've made from pen blanks because they are really versatile. I've made all sorts of things with them, including boxes, and they work really nice. So this is similar to what we're going to be making, minus the felt, and a little bit better than that one, with a couple of notches in there so that you can have the phone held at different angles. So I'm going to make a few of these just to show how easy they are to make. So the first one that I'll make is from Walnut. So this is Walnut. I'm going to put some maple on it as well because it's tried and tested, dark wood and light wood, beautiful contrast, and I just think it looks really nice together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down a couple of slivers of maple, about 2 or 3 mil thick, to glue to the sides of the walnut. So we're going to make like a walnut sandwich with it. So I'm just cutting it on the bandsaw. My hand is a lot further away from the blade than it does appear on this. I didn't need a push stick bandsaw to cut these either. You can cut them in other ways, but you could even use a handsaw for it, but this was just quick. The only problem with the bandsaw is that it does leave marks on there, as you can see, bandsaw marks, so we're going to clean that up on the bench sander. So the bench sander is a great way of basically jointing wood. It works because they're so small. You can put even pressure on the wood, and that's what you need to do, and just try and use as much of the belt as you can so that it doesn't wear down one side. You do need to do this to both the walnut and the maple. I only showed the maple there, I didn't film doing it to the walnut, but that'll ensure that they both lie completely flush with each other and there won't be any gaps when you glue it up, so it'll basically be jointed. So I'm using Titebond 2 glue to glue this up, so it should be set in about an hour, which will give us time to work on the other one and have a bit of a tidy up because my workshop is an absolute mess right now. I'm just going to hold it together with some spring clamps, which I recommend for any newbie woodworker. Wilko's sell these and they're good quality clamps. I really like them. In fact, every time I go in I buy another 2. I think they're only £1.50 each, but they're really good. Also, if you're a newbie woodworker in the UK, you go for the pick and mix, and I don't mean sweets. Wilko's do like a pick and mix bag where you can fill a bag as much as you can. I can't remember how much they are, of screws and bolts and nuts and things like that, and they're just really useful and a lot cheaper than buying all these items separately. So just go for that if you need to get some clamps anyway. So these spring clamps will do the job. I'll leave it on its side so that it doesn't stick to my workbench, because that's plywood top there, so it would if I just leave it, and we'll leave that to set up for about an hour. So moving on to the next one, whilst that dries, this is a piece of cherry. I'm just marking up some lines on it to show where I'm gonna make my cuts on the bandsaw. I'm not measuring them, they don't need to be a particular measurement, they just have to fit your phone in the gap. Obviously the narrower you do it, the more upright your phone is going to be, so the wider the gap, the more of a slant it'll have. So I'm going to do 2 I didn't measure them at the time, but afterwards I measured it, and one's 12mm, it's quite upright, and the other one is about 18mm, and I like both angles. It depends if I'm lounging about, but both work well. So they're going to be on each side, as you can see there, so it'll form like an S shape. So I'll cut these out on the bandsaw. As I say, there's loads of ways to do this cut. You don't need a bandsaw. You can cut these out with a coping saw, or you can use a normal hand saw and then pare away with a chisel, or you could even drill the gaps with a Forstner bit and then make the edges straighter with a chisel so there's no curve. There's loads of ways to skin a cat, as they say, and this is just the way that I'm doing it. Good practice if, like me, you're not very good on a bandsaw. I do have a thicker blade on than I really should have for making that tighter cut, but it did it, and I just nibbled away at the cut. So I cut it down a little bit because it is quite long. It doesn't need to be as long as that was. You can even get away with shorter than this, but I like it because if you have it too short and the phone the wrong way, it can tipple over, but it's not going to because there's more than enough wood on that. And just get rid of any notches that the bandsaw leaves behind with some sandpaper, and as you can see, and that's how it works. It fits the phone in just fine. So I'm just going to apply some finish, and there's one that I made earlier with just the one groove in it, and I'm just putting some wax on these. This is beeswax and Danish oil mix, I think. I didn't make it, I bought it online, it's cheap as anything, but it pops the grain and it's lovely, and pretty much my go-to finish for everything. So this is the walnut and maple one. It's all dried up, so now I'm just going to take it over to the burnt sander and clean it all up again, just to make sure that it's all flat and ready to go. Nice and even pressure when you're putting it on, so it doesn't curve or you get a thinner side, and that's all there is to it really. The joints went together lovely, there's no gaps, which if you do have any gaps you can fill it in with sawdust, but I didn't have any gaps, as you can see there. It's a nice tight fit. So I've drawn out the markings on this one, same as before. I just estimated it. I didn't actually measure anything. It's just roughly what I think my phone will fit into nicely, and you can always make them a little bit bigger if they're not big enough. So that's that done there, just cutting it down to its final size. It doesn't need to be that big, but it's small enough. It's not like it's going to take up a lot of room in my bag, which is where it's going to live, and I just need to clean it up with some sandpaper and put a finish on that. So it's a really simple project to do, and I just think it's a great way to use up pen blanks. I would normally use scraps of pen blanks for this, but you can really use any type of wood for it, any scraps whatsoever, and it doesn't need to be hardwood. You can use pine for it if you're still using pine. Not that that's a bad thing. Pine's lovely wood, but this is just something that you can use to a cheap way to purchase hardwoods and exotic woods, or at least here in the UK. I don't know how much they cost throughout the rest of the world, but the postage alone is sometimes more than what the wood costs, so this is my way of getting around it. So this is just one use for pen blanks. There's loads of things you can do with them. I've made boxes with them, clocks, bottle openers. I'll include some footage at the end of this, as I said, of other projects that I've made, and it's endless. You can use them for so many different things, because you just basically glue them up into panels as you would with any other wood. It just takes a little longer because they're quite small. So there's some finished ones, and here's some other projects. So there's a clock I made for some pen blanks. I just routed out the back to insert the mechanism. Really simple projects, nice and rustic. Even got some spalted ones that I managed to find. This was Iroko and Eki and a few other woods that I don't even know what they were. This was one of the first things I ever made out of hardwood, and I jointed the wood on a sander because they were really wonky and rough. So it just goes to show what you can do with, you know, basic tools. You don't need amazing expensive tools to make stuff. So thanks very much for watching.